Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Linnea, and I am a second year EPIK teacher living and teaching English in Daegu, South Korea. I was just chilling here in my office eating the office snacks. And I was just kind of like sitting here thinking and kind of just reflecting on the past semester because it literally just ended for me, like literally a few hours ago. It just ended. I had summer camp that I did, a little 2-day camp for my middle schoolers. And so yeah, I was just kind of sitting here thinking about the past year, and I was like, you know what, this would be like a good video just to like talking about like just kind of like checking in and just kind of, yeah, talking about the like last semester / like talking about being here, having been here for a year and a half. So yeah, but yeah, I was like, I have to make sure to introduce myself because I realized that a lot of my videos, I just get like excited to like be recording them and stuff that I just like start talking. And I'm like, okay, let me introduce myself. So yes, my name is Linnea, like I said, and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, or even ask me any questions if you have any or want to connect. I don't know, if you're coming to Daegu, let me know. But anyways, okay, reflecting on this year. So if I'm looking down, I've made some little notes. So I will say that, you know, I'm feeling good at this current moment. I feel like the thing about that I do love about teaching here in Korea is that I feel like just when you're starting to feel a little bit like burnt out or like exhausted, like that's right when the vacations start. I don't know, because I did teach in the US. I don't know if it's something about like our semester lengths here or what it is, but I feel like it's like just as I'm starting to feel a little bit like overwhelmed, it's vacation time. So I will say that is really nice to be, you know, knowing, oh yeah, vacation just started. Camp isn't always my favorite thing to do. So I'm happy camp is over with. Not that it's like bad, but it's just like, it's just more planning, more things that you have to do, like usually only you. You don't really get any help from anybody else in the English department. And so that's just, you know, sometimes it's just a lot. Desk warming isn't usually always my favorite, especially because I desk warm, like that. I'm only in my office today because I finished camp and I was working in here this morning. But usually when I desk warm, I have to desk warm in like the big office that like everybody is in. So I'm just kind of like sitting there, not really speaking to anybody, but whatever. Okay, let's talk about how the last year and a half has gone. So one of the things I will say is that like this second year feels different than last year, both good wise and not so good wise. So I will start with the good things. I feel like one way to just like sum up the good experiences or like the good difference or the good similarities, would be to just say like familiarity. I feel like in general, like life is just a lot easier when you know what to do, you know, like when it comes to banking in Korea, when it came time to do my visa again, even my students, like I love the fact that like 2/3 of my students, I had them last year. So we are very familiar with each other. So that just makes things a lot smoother. They know me, I know them. I know what things did and didn't work with them last year, what things they really enjoyed. It's been awesome to see their growth. You know, students, like it's been really crazy actually. Some students I remember last year that were so quiet, didn't really speak, and you know, maybe sometimes you just assume, oh, maybe their English isn't that well, to like they see me now in the hallways and they're, you know, kind of sometimes even like yelling down the hallway to say hi to me, and we're conversing about just our weekend or just whatever the case is, and I love it. So yeah, that has been really awesome when it comes to like I said, school life being easier, because even like the curriculum. So I do use the same book that I used last year. So I'm able to like reuse like a lot of the worksheets that I spent time creating last semester. Like I said, I know what games did and didn't work, what games were like super big hits, what games work for the first graders and don't work for the third graders. Like I said, I tweak my PowerPoints here and there, but for the most part, like I have my curriculum that I can use. And even when it comes to doing like free lessons, like, you know, for example, we finished, our last day of school was on Friday, but we finished with our finals like 3 weeks ago. So for the last like 3 weeks, I was kind of like having to do like free lessons. And so like, I'm prepared for that. I have a whole plethora of things that like the students really loved, or that like was fun to teach them, that they really enjoyed learning about, like those kinds of things. Even like I would say like the teachers here at school being familiar, like I feel like I don't stick out as much. Of course, I'm always going to stick out here, but I feel like I don't, like I said, stick out as much. I am a familiar face. I feel like I get more, like, as I feel like teachers start to see me more and more, it's, it's like, I feel, not that I feel like a cold vibe, but it's like I feel like an even warmer vibe. Like, I even remember there was a big difference between last year's first semester and then the second semester. And it was kind of just like, now teachers are more familiar with me. And even this year, like, some of the teachers that I know, like, especially like the new teachers that we got this year, and like, I'm sharing the office with them and they don't really know me. Maybe they've never, like I said, sometimes I never assume that some of the like Korean people have like even interacted with foreign, like a lot of foreign, I won't say foreigners in their whole life, but maybe like a lot of foreigners, or had someone like directly speaking English to them. And I know that can be nerve-wracking because I get nervous when people like approach me and start talking to me in Korean sometimes. But yeah, I can even just kind of tell there's like a warmer vibe. Like maybe they've heard me attempt Korean, and like I said, I can say simple stuff, but like I have a long way to go. So I feel like, when people hear you sounding a mess, like gives it a more like, oh, we can just sound a mess together, I feel like I said, I'm more like, there are teachers who will like try to talk to me in English and I can try to talk to them in Korean, and that's not how it was last year. That's not how it was at the beginning of the year. So that's cool. But yeah, like I said, just being familiar, feeling more settled, knowing how to, like I said, maneuver my way around school, maneuver my way around Korea, when it comes to even like traveling around Korea, when it comes to banking. You don't know like the difficult, and granted, I'm thankful for these like anti-fraud measures, if you will call them that. But wow, like there really are some, like, you're kind of jumping through hoops sometimes to get things set up, especially as a foreigner here in Korea. Like even like banking, some banks don't take foreigners, like just straight, oh, that's the air. Some banks don't take foreigners. Some banks, if you come and you, like there's less than a year left on your visa, which for the most part, once you get settled in, you do have a year, like less than a year left in your visa, they're like, oh no, we can't take you. And it just becomes like, this location says they can do this for you, but this location of the same bank says they can't. Sometimes you really do have to run around in your first year here. So I'm glad all that's behind me. So this year has been a lot just smoother in general. So I am loving that. I feel like socially, I will say that, like, it is kind of like an adjustment. And I think this just goes for living abroad. I can only imagine how it is for people who have been here for years. So it's sad to, think about like the friends that have gone home. Like, oh, some of my friends that like, we had such a great time last year. And then it's like, now kind of like, adjusting to like, I don't have that person anymore to like text who, we were neighbors. Hey, do you want to grab a bite to eat or whatever? And it's cool because, like I said, I have, you make new friends, and like other friendships that you have become stronger. So I'm really thankful for that. But sometimes it is sad to like not see, or like, to watch your friends go home. But yeah, I feel like those are like some like really positive differences, or like just, yeah, I guess like similarities from last year. And I feel like now jumping into the not so, I won't call them bad, but just not so good, I guess you could maybe say. I feel like my one main thing, sorry, there's like a bug. My one main thing is probably like feeling like kind of lonely at work. And I say that because last year, my like handler co-teacher, we were like the same age, and we had a really like cool, friendly relationship. And that's cool and I will say that I don't expect like everyone to be my friend at school, or for my co-teachers to all be, coddling me. But I will say that it is nice to have a buddy at least at work. Like, it's nice to have that. And so I feel like I don't really have that this year, because my one co-teacher that was my handler last year, and like I said, we were like buddies, she transferred to another school. And then I had some other like teacher buddies, like one of the PE teachers, he was like really good at English and he wanted to practice English, so we would eat lunch together and we'd converse about whatever. There was another teacher that was like, I think she taught ethics or something like that, and she actually grew up in the US from like up until she was 10 years old, so like her English was, I mean, perfect. And so yeah, we would converse, we would eat lunch together, and so they have all gone. So I don't really have like don't get me wrong, all my co-teachers are very pleasant, they are wonderful, they are really helpful if I ask for help, but like it's very like professional, which I can appreciate. And to be honest, it could be the complete opposite, because I've heard stories of co-teachers just not making the experience of the English teacher, like the English teacher not having a pleasant experience because of the co-teachers, or just a variety of other things. So I won't like complain too much, but I will say that like as somebody who is, I feel like I'm pretty extroverted, I do like to have just even casual conversation with people on the day to day. And I feel like this year, not a lot of that happens. I do have one co-teacher I have a lot of co-teachers. I have like 6. I do teach at a pretty large middle school. I have about 800 plus students. I do have a co-teacher that I have a pretty like cool relationship with, but we're not in the same office, and she's only here part-time. So I don't see her that often. And I mean, like sometimes if we happen to be going to lunch at the same time, we will sit together, but that doesn't happen like too often. So yeah. And then that's what I was gonna say too. This year I also have more classes. We had a really big incoming first grade class, and so don't get me wrong, I had a large like class load last year as well. I had like a 4-week schedule, like an ABCD week schedule. And so 2 of those weeks I taught 22 hours, which if you don't know, that is like the kind of like the cap. If you start teaching over 22 hours, they have to pay you like overtime. So I taught 22 hours 2 of the weeks and 23 hours 2 of the weeks. So, it was kind of like some weeks I would feel a little exhausted, but then I'd go back to having the 22 hours. So, that allows for like, some days maybe I have one extra period, 1 period free, and some days I have 2, sometimes 3, depending on the schedule. This year I have an AB schedule, so like a 2-week schedule, and I teach 24 hours. So sometimes I just feel like that really feels like really exhausting. Like I feel myself feeling more exhausted when I leave work than I did last year. I feel like last year my attitude was like, oh, this is easy, this is great. And don't get me wrong, it's still easy or easier, like it's still like a breeze, especially compared to like me having taught in the US. But it's just like, sometimes it is mentally exhausting teaching literally all, like it feels like all the time. Like I'll usually sometimes have like my one period free a day, and then sometimes like that will turn into like, sometimes like you need to like converse with your co-teachers, touch base about a game or the curriculum or what's going on or whatever. And so like that will leave my one free period. That's when those meetings sort of happen. And so then it kind of just like feels like it turns into there was like no time to even sit and like breathe during the day. So I feel like I definitely do feel like a little bit more exhausted at this halfway mark than I did last year. But I feel like the overall wonderful experience. Like I said, I really feel like I'm just having like a great time. I feel like especially like social life wise, like, or just like life outside of school wise. I feel like it's just been so much fun. I just feel like I've been able to go to like so many like festivals, either ones maybe that I missed last year or getting to go to some like again this year. Like I said, I kind of mentioned it a little bit like a few minutes ago, but like a lot of the friendships, like getting to know these friends like even more, because now we've known each other for 1.5 years, and we've been like, now we feel comfortable like maybe confiding in or talking about like the struggles that we may face at work, or just the struggles of, I feel like, being a foreigner in another country, missing things at home, like I said, sometimes it really can be difficult to be a foreigner here in Korea with certain things that you can and cannot do, certain like establishments that don't aren't allowing foreigners, and those experiences of like what that can, how that makes you feel sometimes. And just even it's been nice to even talk to certain friends about like, we also kind of feel like, yeah, year two it's been different, you know? But you know, like I said, overall, I would say it's been wonderful. I literally feel like I'm having like the time of my life. I feel like that sounds like so like dramatic, but I really am like having a great time, and I feel so thankful to even be like able to get this experience. And so I'm just going to continue to be taking full advantage, like traveling when I can. I feel like I've had been able to do like a lot of like cultural experiences this year. Like if you've seen some of my other vlogs, like I did the cooking class, I did like a tea ceremony in like the Hanbok a few weeks ago. My Korean has been it's still bad, but my Korean is like improving, and I'm really proud of that. So yeah, like year two has been really awesome for the most part. And I'm really glad that I decided to stay a second year, because I remember last year I was kind of on the fence, but I just felt like what really made me renew was I was like, you know what, I really feel like my Korea chapter is not finished. And that has been confirmed. I feel like as I've like, continued to live here, like it's just been getting better and better. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what the rest of 2024 has in store, what the rest of my time here, whether that ends next year, whether that continues on. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to all of the new experiences that will happen. But yeah, I think I will end the video right here. Thank you for watching and listening to me kind of reflect on my year and a half here so far in Korea. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Oh wait, that's the same thing. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me about anything, about life here in Korea, just anything, feel free. But yeah, until next time, see you later.